Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm going to be talking about Center 4, which focuses on the rock cycle, and it's learned through stories. So in the materials there are different versions of the rock cycle. This one I think is very kind of self-explanatory and easy to follow, with the sedimentary rock, heating and pressure turning to metamorphic, and then heating, pressure some more into igneous, which is an even harder rock, and then over time erosion, breaking back down into sediments, and then continuing. It's important to tell the kiddos that this is a continuous process. Rocks don't stay in one form. Over time, they transform into different types of rocks. And we're going to look at this further in the final unit in the garden, where we talk about soil and erosion. So this will be a building unit. And then once you've kind of gone over the rock cycle and the kiddos have some decent familiarity with the rock cycle, then there are stories, and there's 4 different stories. There's the sandstone quartzite story, there's shell limestone marble story, there's peat lignite hard coal story, and then the one I have out over here is clay, shale, and slate. And there, in each of these bags, there are like 4 versions of this. Sorry, it's the same story, but there's 4 copies. So as I said, there's 4 different stories, but I'm just going to highlight one of the 4 to give you all an idea. So this is the clay, shale, slate story. If you picture a riverbed where mud is forming at the bottom, of all the sediments are kind of compiling, and then you can grab a handful, and that's like clay that you're pulling out of the mud, and then over time, as it gets heated and pressurized, it's becoming the shale, and then with more heat and pressure, we get the slate. So that's an example of one of the 4 stories. With the younger kiddos, you might, like K to second, you might get out like this, each of the bags, and read the story. And so you kind of point as you go so they can make that visual connection. And then with the older kiddos, the 3rd, 4th graders, you might actually let them do the investigative work. So you might give each kiddo or pair of kids, or 3, whatever the numbers are in your group, give each one a bag, and let them read about the rocks and the story, and then share it with their friends. You could even take it a step further and put the rocks out in groupings, give each kiddo a story, and let them actually match the story to the rocks, and in the same process share that with their friends, and tell how they actually figured out which rock went with each story. So yeah, it's all about investigation, having fun, and really helping the kids learn about the rock cycle.